Welcome here, Punch Out Boxing, here with Mark Neilson after another terrific night at York Hall. As usual, I like to start at the bottom. Couple of debutants, impressive, young Keen and my local boy, GIDZ ANDTWI. Welcome addition to the heavyweight division.
Yeah, Keenan, what a fighter he is. He looks a real star, doesn't he? Decent amateur, he's bought like half of Suffolk, I think, with him or something today. But he's got some skills. It's always difficult to tell on the debut because they only get to journeyman. Obviously, just finding their feet in their first 4-rounder. But he just looks like he's got some class about him. So exciting future. And Gideon as well. He's like an outstanding amateur. He's got like this resume. He's just won everything. And he's in there. You can see he's got some class about him. He's some good skills, some good movements, and whatever. Yeah, really good potential. He's a good prospect.
Yeah, and for a heavyweight to go straight in and start duking it out, and not, he didn't try and play it safe. Unusual, shows his confidence.
Well, he took a few as well and just shot them off. So he's obviously got a chin on him, and at heavyweight you need that. Otherwise you ain't getting very far. So yeah, impressive start for him.
Laura Payne, she's well and truly now in the sort of orbit of some major titles. As you know, the women's game isn't that deep, so we could quickly see her in with some of the other big names.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're building up quite nicely. I think we're going to have a November date. We're going to have a Commonwealth title for her. That's already been approved. We've got a couple of opponents in front of the Commonwealth, so that's the sort of formality really. So a Commonwealth title for her, and then 2025 will be a huge year for her. She's got a good record now, Commonwealth title around her belt. Hopefully, can't look past the next fight, but we're hoping that that should all be good. So 2025 will be huge, and maybe some big TV shows for her with some really, there's as I say, women's boxing's gone through a renaissance the last couple of years, so some big fights for her next year.
Yeah, she fought Shannon Ryan in the amateurs. That's why I'd love to see rekindled a rivalry in the pros.
Yeah, great fight that. Always just a great consummate pro. Spends all the time in the gym, always ready, always fit, always brings it, always in a tough fight. Brings a really good crowd with her. Got some real skills and stuff. So massive fights ahead for her next year.
And as for the final 3 fights, all were epic. HAJJI MUHIS showed his amateur pedigree. I thought he boxed beautifully and got quite a dominant win.
Yeah, absolutely, great dominant win. And you could see the power, couldn't you? He was just, the other guy was just sort of hunting him down, but just couldn't get to him and was just getting caught and caught and caught. You could just see his power. And he's at the Peacock Gym, which has got, brilliant pedigree. It's a great gym. They produce some great fighters and some great sparring. I think he's like Finnish, came in from Finland about 4 years ago, just moved everything. He's the next national champion. So we know he's got some quality. You could see it tonight. And yeah, he's a class act.
Think titles next for him?
Oh, for sure. He's got it all. He ticks every box. Looks good. He's got power in his hands. He's got a great technician. He brings a good crowd with him. So yeah, big fights for him.
The co-main. I mean, GEGIC came in after 2 years of inactivity, put up a hell of a resistance, and Dan coming of age for him. Again, it's a pity it weren't for a title. It was well worth it.
Yeah, we tried to get that for a title. We had Alfie Winter for a southern area to start with, but Alfie Winter's out injured. So we tried to get that fight sanctioned, but they wouldn't sanction it for a southern area. You look at that fight now, and that should have been southern area all night long. But I think it was GEGIC's inactivity. But he was a really good amateur as well, great pedigree, been out for a little bit. Thought that would play a lot into Dan Francis's hands, really, because he's like the proper athlete. You could tell by the engine on the guy. And I thought after the first couple of rounds, GEGIC looked quite sharp. I thought he might nick the first couple of rounds. I thought Dan might have a long night ahead. But then the third and fourth, he seemed to sort of fade a little bit. And I thought, okay, Dan's going to step it up, start putting the pressure on, and he might just wear him down. But actually, GEGIC stayed in there. He still had it. He looked tired from round 4 or 5, but just kept going, and Dan was putting it on him. I think Dan's a potential star in the division. He's got everything. And he's got some great skills. Not a massive amateur background either, but he lives in the gym, and he's got some great sparring as well. So, great fight though, isn't it? Great toe-to-toe action, and yeah, really entertaining.
Just like you always deliver, and of course that cruiserweight banger rerun of their debut fight. In the end, OAKFORD got it tactically right, got behind his jab, and Miller just seemed to be looking for the big overhand right.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that's the third time they fought, because they fought in the amateurs as well, and they did some sparring before they both turned pro. And, I think Deevorn with his knockout percentage and his recent record, I think you'd have to edge him as a favourite after the debut loss for him. but I think he was just looking to try and walk him down, but wasn't doing enough. And Lewis was just, even on the back foot, was just picking up the points, wasn't he? He was throwing the jabs, the quick hands, combinations. He'd get tagged every now and again. You could see Deevorn had the power, and and if you think if he got to him, but he just didn't do enough. And it was like he'd have a flurry towards the end of the round, but needed to do that for more of the round. I did think that 190 score was a bit wide of the mark, a bit closer than that. But credit to the winner. It's his first title and first of many, hopefully, for the boy.
Yeah, cruiserweight division stacks are some big fights for Lewis and for Deevorn. Maybe Lewis was just his bogeyman.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think cruiserweight's got a thin division in opponents. I think Sheriff Musard's in a eliminator for an English after only having 3 fights, and that shows you at welterweight that never happening because there's just too many of them. So there's big opportunities quite quick for the cruiserweights. There's quite a lot about, and there's some good fights to make, some good area titles and eliminators and stuff. So for both of them, Deevorn want to be back. He'll dust himself down and come back from that.
Yes, indeed. Well, are you going to be staying up for your friend John's US invasion? Got to hope our boys bring that title back.
Yeah, of course, this is his first leg of a two-parter tonight, isn't it? All the boys are over there in Texas doing their thing. This is, we're sort of like flying solo and just without, they're keeping an eye on it on the WhatsApps and obviously watching it on Fight Zone and TalkSport. But yeah, we'll probably keep an eye on that tonight. But there's some good fights over there as well. It's a great night of boxing for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, for us boxing fanatics, long night, morning, but hey, we love this. All right, Mark, always a pleasure, and we'll be back end of the month for another cracking card.
Yeah, I think we got 19th of October in Ipswich, 26th of October we're back here, and then November we've got a York Hall, we've got a Swindon, we've just had another York Hall date in December because our sort of stable and working with John Chatui at TM14, we're just sort of building up these York Hall shows. We're just, it just seems like a regular occurrence here. So yeah, we're going to be busy, more titles, more big fights, more of the same.
Christmas came early, thanks to Mark Neilson. Mark, always a pleasure. We will see you in a few weeks.